he'd have complete freedom to write Walt's story as he saw it. Years later, my mother, Diane Disney Miller, having long considered how best to memorialize her father's legacy and preserve our family's extensive archives, ultimately decided that a state-of-the-art interactive museum seemed the most fitting to tell my grandfather's story. She'd already had a hand in other projects honoring him, producing the documentary film Walt, the Man Behind the Myth in 2001 with my brother Walt, and spearheading the construction of the Walt Disney Concert Hall. Mom had said she wanted the museum to be true to all aspects of her father's life. So understandably, with him having been gone for some number of years, her concern was getting the story right. This book, Walt Disney, an American Original, was one of the foundational sources for all the museum's gallery texts and a natural and easy choice. Bob's biography provided critical guidance, using Walt's own words and the words of people who knew him best, which revealed nuanced details and stories that paint a picture of both his professional and personal life. Mom had hoped people would feel excited and inspired as they explored the gallery space and experienced these stories, learning who my grandfather was not only as a public figure, but also as a person, son, brother, husband, father, and grandfather, how we knew and remembered him. As you'll read in this book, for Grandpa, the story was everything. The Walt Disney Family Museum opened to the public in the Presidio of San Francisco on October 1st, 2009. Christopher Miller, the Walt Disney Family Museum and Walt Disney Family Foundation board member. March 2023.
Introduction. As the author of dozens of Disney books, the producer of many documentaries and D23 Expo events, and the presenter of Disney tours and lectures, perhaps the most frequently asked question I hear is, what's the best biography of Walt Disney I can read? There are many, as you might expect. They range, as the saying goes, from the sublime to the ridiculous. Some are virtually pure fiction. Others are superficial and reverent to a fault. Others are agenda-driven and vicious. There is still only one that, in my experience, balances an even-handed presentation of the subject persona with factual accuracy and cultural context. After decades, the single finest one-source work about the life and work of Walt Disney is the one you're listening to, Bob Thomas's 1976 biography, Walt Disney, an American Original. The biography grew out of a desire by Walt Disney Productions and the Disney family to present an adult audience biography of Walt Disney, in many ways to go on the record with a reliable and truthful accounting of Walt's life before the iconoclasts could have a greater voice than those closest to the man himself. Not long after Walt's passing in December 1966, biographer Richard Hubler was first commissioned for the project. After extensive research and interviews during 1967 and 1968, Hubler submitted a manuscript that was never published. It was deemed too clinical and not terribly entertaining. Most important, it missed the essence of what made the man who he was and the personality of the subject who was so familiar to the public. Later, in the early 1970s, Hollywood film industry biographer and reporter Bob Thomas was approached for the project. He'd already worked with Disney on the landmark 1958 book, The Art of Animation. As an Associated Press reporter since 1944, Thomas had frequent contact and interactions with the studio and with Walt himself. He knew the subject, he knew the industry and the epoch he'd be chronicling intimately. He had eyewitness context. He had earned respect as a journalist. He knew how to imbue his presentation of a subject with its own personality and perspectives, and not his own. He knew how to tell hard truths with objectivity and sympathy. Armed with the interview transcripts and work of Hubler and others, and with full access to the collections and colleagues of Walt Disney, Thomas set to work. Ever the journalist, he did not carry his own agenda. He presented his researched facts combined with the erudite truth of his own observation. And knowing his audience, he also wrote in an accessible...
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.